Hi, Karl at CPC Finance, and today we're in Colchester to meet Cyril Thomas at one of the projects that we've arranged the funding for.
Okay, so today we're in Colchester Town Centre. You've got the Town Centre train station to the rear of me. So Colchester Town Centre has been one of the fastest growing boroughs in the UK for several years and has recently become a city. There's a lot of regeneration potential, and in this area alone, you've got £19 million worth of government investment coming into it over the next few years. So I'm going to be showing you a building that we recently acquired, and I look forward to taking you through the process. So come with me and let me show you inside the Apart Hotel. So before we go inside, I must note that we have actually installed keyless locks into all of our doors, which means you can use a fob, your mobile phone or a code to get to any single door in the Apart Hotel. So we are in one of the Apart hotel rooms at the moment that's currently being renovated. As you can see, there's a lot of work going on here. They're ripping out the bathroom, replacing the bathroom. One of the things that really attracted me to this building are the large rooms, very tall ceilings and large windows, large sash windows, which really and truly you can't really get in many other places in Colchester in regards to apartments or rental rooms or hotel rooms. So this adds a lot of value in regards to the rental room rates, which we'll discuss in a short while. Okay, so you're now in one of the rooms that is currently being upgraded. So I'll say 90% of the upgrade has been complete on this room. So as you can see, if you look around, it looks like room 1 did before we started renovating room 1. We've replaced all of the carpet with tiles. We've actually ripped out the original walls and replaced them with insulated walls, etc. If you come this way, this room is quite unique because it actually has a dining area as well, which means that it'll be able to command greater rates on the rental market, on the nightly hotel room rate market.
Right, everybody's had an opportunity to have a look around the premises now. What they won't know is the background to the property and when it started and how you ended up and how we got involved. So if you could just give a summary of why you picked this property and what you negotiated going forward.
Okay, excellent. So I came across this property during COVID. It was shut down, derelict, had squatters in the hotel apartment. So it was quite a find. I managed to negotiate a good deal on the property with the vendor, who was quite elderly, and he just wanted to be rid of this property. It was causing him a lot of issues. I knew that I had the resources in the team to sort of make it work, so I made him an offer which, some may say was quite cheeky, but he accepted it and he understood the reasons why.
On top of which, not only did you negotiate the purchase price, you negotiated an option agreement so that you could get in, do the work and develop it out.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct.
What was the time span on that, the option agreement?
Yes, so the original option length was actually 2 years, but we inserted a clause into the option called a COVID clause. I think we named it that. Yeah. And that COVID clause meant that for every day that we were shut down due to COVID and that we couldn't trade, the option would increase by a certain amount of time. So that ended up giving us an extra 6 months. Mm-hmm. So the option ended up being 2.5 years.
And in that time, you also got a tenant for the lease on the restaurant, and they're paying for it to be renovated.
That's correct, yes. Yeah. So we managed to secure a tenant for the restaurant downstairs, and they've been paying for the last year and a quarter,
yeah,
I should say. They've been very good tenants. They're still renovating the property. They're spending a lot of money down there because they're very passionate about what it's going to become.
Mm-hmm. Well, not unique, but it's different, is that you saw potential here. Obviously, the location. We spoke a little bit in the background on the regeneration of Colchester, which you thought would take 20, 30 years.
It would take 20, 30 years. Councils band about this word regeneration all the time, and you think, okay, how long is this really going to take? Yeah. But it just so happened that the council did secure £19 million to invest on our doorstep. So we're very lucky, and that regeneration is likely to take place within the next 2 years.
And it appears to be all the way around the building.
Literally, I believe our building is dead centre in the middle of the regeneration process.
So long term, it will increase the demand and
Yeah, that in conjunction with it being next door to the town centre train station, they've got a lot of fantastic plans for what they're going to be doing.
Ideal parking.
Ideal parking, they're potentially building a multi-storey car park right next door as well. You know, they're going to be building more commercial buildings surrounding it. There's a lot of potential. They'll be opening up to the public realm too and making more of the Priory, you know, the Roman ruins.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, on the back.
That's correct.
And the other, which is slightly different, is the eight rooms. You've got the option, which you do, is use Airbnb or overnight stay. You could convert to a HMO quite easily, or even the possibility, because of the size of the rooms, to studio flats.
Very much so. So the rooms are definitely large enough to become studio flats. It doesn't make sense for us to do that now because actually the nightly rates vary between 110 to about 155 at the moment, with a room like this being anywhere between 250 to 300 once we've actually finished with the interior design.
Compared to a monthly rent on a...
So a room like this,
agreement,
you're getting on the monthly rent probably about £900 a month. So,
figures speak for
it makes sense to do it like this.
What's slightly, again, different in the way that we talk about a deal is it is a trading business type application, although one thing everyone will have noticed on the screen, there's no staff.
Yeah, so that's another thing which I thought was quite unique about the building, is that it could run on a skeleton staff. So after we install the high-tech CCTV camera system throughout the entire building and replace all of the locks with automatic keyless locks that can be opened up from anywhere in the world, it became easy to run the building from a distance. Mm-hmm. So now there's pretty much the only people that come in here in regards to staff are the contractors, once in a while, the cleaners. They've got their own code so they can get in and out without us having to sort of give them access. And the guests all get emailed their codes to get in and out, and they will get a unique one for the front.
So it's minimum overhead cost.
Minimum overhead cost. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's turn to the important part, which is the finance, because you could have, looking back, purchased it day one on a bridge.
Correct.
And then you had COVID, and then you had the setup as a business, which has probably taken, to get the true figures or potential out, 2.5 years.
Yeah, I'll say that, just about.
Yeah, which would have been expensive on a bridge.
Precisely.
You were in a position where you negotiated the option agreement.
Correct.
Spend your own money doing the property up.
Mm-hmm.
And if you hadn't completed on the option, the vendor would have had a lovely property up and running with a...
He'd be very happy.
Yeah. So when we discussed it, I got the understanding that although it was a purchase, we were able to prove, because of the documentation you sent us, the before and after photos, the schedule of works, and more importantly, proving that you'd spent the money.
Correct.
As well, we were able to negotiate with the Shawbrook Bank to end on the GDV value, even though it was way higher than the purchase price.
Yes.
And therefore it was straight to return.
Precisely.
And that was important to you for a number of reasons.
No, actually, see, I think that it was very important to the deal because it saved me a lot of money in costs. You know, bridging is not cheap.
Yeah.
So to be able to get, I suppose, long-term finance, term finance on a deal based on the value as opposed to the purchase price, because we had all this documentation, we had all of the evidence, we had all of the images to show what had been done to the building. It just meant that actually it ended up being what's the word that people call it, that I don't really like, is it's not below market value or...
Well, yeah, that is the thing. It wasn't a below market transaction because the purchase price was the purchase price. The cost of works and everything was proven. Precisely. So it wasn't, oh, I'm buying it cheap just because of the sake of it. No. It was we had the whole story in black and white print and emails.
And the documentation, the option was done properly through solicitors, power of attorneys in place, management agreements in place. Everything was there for the lenders and yourselves to make a full assessment on.
I think also the difficulty that you found and we were able to overcome is that lending against the gross development value. It was a hotel.
Correct.
And obviously the lease on the restaurant, they were still being done up.
Correct.
And the bank worked with us both, even to the point where we got one of the directors out to come and visit you. They were already happy with you, but to actually see the structure of the premises.
You say they're happy with me. I find it quite remarkable that you were able to pull the strings to actually get the head of underwriting down to the building to make an assessment?
I think it was the more I was nagging him.
But Karl, this is where I say not all brokers are the same.
Yeah.
You know, I spoke to several brokers about this deal, and all of them actually said, when I mentioned Shawbrook, that Shawbrook, this falls outside of their criteria. There's no way you can do this sort of deal with Shawbrook. But when I spoke to you, you looked at it, you looked at the documentation, you asked me a lot of questions, you know, but I was able to answer those questions. And
Certainly were with the paperwork, I saw.
then you had your discussions and you made it work.
And I think the most important thing, which is we alluded to earlier, it's the potential to change the property.
Correct.
If the demand for the overnight rates went, you very easily and quite quickly could turn it into the single lets, and basing the affordability on that, it still fitted anyway.
Well, actually, during COVID, what we did was the long-term stays, because as you remember, hotels were shut down during COVID.
Yeah.
So we had to switch to long-term stays.
So
it worked
again,
perfectly.
you proved, when we were going through the documents, you showed them that as well.
Yeah.
And all I can say is that when the director left here, he was happy to sign the deal off.
Yeah.
You know, we got an updated valuation and all the figures stacked up. Right, that finishes up the project for today. So if you like what you've seen, then just remember to like, subscribe and share. And all of these projects and the previous projects are all shown on our website, and also along with all the details of the different finance that we can arrange.